This is Castle Tumbleton, the seat of House Footley. It's more of a market town, really, located right here in the Reach, some 150 miles or so from King's Landing. This river is the Mander, the same Mander that House Manderly takes their name from. It all connects, look at that. Sir Torrhen Manderly is the new Master of Coin. His house is White Harbor in the north, but the Manderlys used to live down here at Dunstonbury until the Gardeners exiled them a super long time ago. Anywho, House of the Dragon Season 3 Episode 4 is titled Tumbleton, because a huge chunk of it takes place at Tumbleton. No spoilers for the future of House of the Dragon, but if I do, I'll warn you first. That's Daeron, by the way. He's the fourth and final child of Viserys and Alicent, but he's got Alicent's auburn hair, and he's lived in Old Town his entire life. The only Targaryen thing about him, really, is this nice lady right here, Tessarion the Blue Queen. I guess Viserys must have sent a dragon egg for baby Daeron's cradle, which just adds to the confoundity of his willingness to not only have 4 non-Rhaenyra children, but to let all 4 of them become dragon riders. When he himself flew Balerion once and killed him with cringe, and constantly yaps about how dragons are power men should never have trifled with. So maybe Alicent was the one who wanted to ensure all her children had dragons so they could oppose Rhaenyra? Of course, this was pre-lobotomy Alicent, when she still hated Rhaenyra's guts. Ormund Hightower is ripping off 18th century Great Britain Parliament's quartering acts, requiring folks to house and feed scary soldiers. I knew this because I took AP US History, and I scored a 3 on the final test. That's passing, you know.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
And Ormund is mad that House Baratheon isn't squaring up a huge army against Rhaenyra, since their pact was sealed in the Season 1 finale when Aemond got betrothed to Lady Florys. But I guess Lord Boros is both illiterate and ill-brave. Or he's just got enough sense to realize all his army would do is increase the death toll in a potential Field of Fire 2.0. Even if Ormund had 100,000 soldiers, what are they going to do against Syrax and Caraxes, and Vermithor and Silverwing, and Moondancer and Seasmoke, and maybe even Sheepstealer if Rhaena doesn't shit the bed again? That's why Ormund needs Aemond and Vhagar to join them, but Alice Rivers is currently keeping Aemond in a snow globe. Who the hell is this guy? I swear, every episode there's a new Knight of the Kingsguard lurking in the background of every Red Keep interior shot. Look at him just standing there. Glendon Good? Lionel Bentley? Adrian Redfort? Hey, I guess IMDb does exist. Let's check if they added him. Yep, it's Adrian Redfort. Glad that's settled. Now we can shift over to Alicent actually being a little interesting. She says she gave Viserys 3 Targaryen offspring, but wanted the 4th and final to be a Hightower. So it was her choice to send Daeron off to Old Town. Was this truly her truest act of motherhood, as she says? That the safest thing for him was neglecting to be a mother to him at all? Alicent's wish for a Hightower child is consistent with her green dress scene in episode 105, and her own Hightowerly bias against House Targaryen's queer customs.
You Targaryens do have queer customs.
Rhaenyra says she would have spared Daeron. I'm assuming she's referring to the fake Daeron she just had in custody. But would she have spared the real Daeron under different circumstances? Alicent's whole motivation, pre-lobotomy, was to protect her sons from Rhaenyra and Daemon, since they'd all customarily outrank her in the succession. On paper, there's no difference between Aegon, Aemond, and Daeron, especially to the rogue prince.
You still have to kill Daeron.
So no, Alicent didn't know Rhaenyra would spare him. Aegon swears Sunfire is still alive, but he is looking mighty dead here. I'm not sure I've ever seen a deader dragon. Well, that's not true. Arax was super dead that one time, and Meleys looks a lot worse than Sunfire too. Maybe he is still alive, and Aegon is using his Valyrian magic powers to sense his life force. He even whispers to Sunfire, "my boy," which is very sweet. Kristen and Gwaine are playing Demon Souls in Harrenhal. Be careful, boys. World tendency is a bitch. Cole's master plan is to basically revert to his Dornish roots, which is ironic given how Gwaine was a little racist to him at first over his Dornish heritage.
No one is more delighted than I to march out to war with the Dornishmen.
Cole wants to do guerrilla warfare in the dark, man-to-man combat. Pride Month is over, folks. Keep it in your breeches. It's not a terrible idea either, because harrying the Rivermen and Northmen won't involve Caraxes now that Daemon's away, and Rhaenyra probably won't send a dragon unless Vhagar is sighted. So instead of dancing with dragons, Kristen is trying to wrestle with men.
On board ship, we kept cats.
The writers are giving Otto Hightower's genius cat gambit to Alan of Hull, which I think is a really good choice. I mean, an adaptation of Fire and Blood just doesn't work if you don't include the cat plan, so I'm glad Ryan Condal was able to fit it in, and give Alan something to do. It's also neat having a couple scions of dwindling High Valyrian houses looking upon a recreation of their ancestors' capital. I wonder if Rhaenyra is perusing Viserys' model simply as a way of remembering him, or if it's in connection with Daemon's request last episode, that they return to their world-conquering Valyrian roots.
Tangletongue works the latrines. Collects piss for the tanners, shit for the farmers.
Tangletongue? Tom Tangletongue?
Tangletongue.
Hey, that's pretty cool. He doesn't appear yet in Fire and Blood, but perhaps the show is giving him a more prominent role here, and Tangletongue will join Aegon and Larys' sorry little band of brothers. Or this is just a one-off reference to a book character to appease fanboys like me. Aegon working the latrines is a nice way to beat him down to the level of the small folk. Remember all those poor rat catchers he murdered? His whole arc post-Rook's Rest is to give him class consciousness, I suppose, a taste of being non-royal for the first time in his life. Honestly, what he's done so far is pretty irredeemable, like the aforementioned innocent ratcatcher murders and raping Diana. So I think simple vengeance for Jaehaerys should be plenty motivation for Aegon's story arc, rather than class consciousness. But we'll see. Maybe the latrine thing and boot-kissing thing are just to punish him, narratively speaking.
I think we'll have a nice time here, lads.
We'll make merry tonight. Be better than Honeyholt.
Better than the Honeyholt, you say? This confirms we've already skipped the Battle of the Honeywine, which took place way back west towards Old Town. That battle was basically Daeron and Tessarion's coming out party, the first interesting thing the Hightower army did. But we heard in episode 206 that the Beesberries, who live at Honeyholt, have already risen up against the Hightowers.
Lord Ormund Hightower makes slow progress. There is great concern that his host is threatened on two fronts by armies allied with House Beesbury.
So those skirmishes are what this dude is referring to. By the way, is every foot soldier in Westeros a rapist? It feels like such a screenwriting crutch, kind of the laziest way to inform us that a bunch of poor, uneducated, violent men-at-arms are indeed going to do bad things. At least Ormund isn't totally awful, since he spares Hugh Hammer's brother-in-law here. Maybe Alicent was right. Sending Daeron to live with him was her best motherly decision. Oh wait, nope, never mind. I'm curious if Caraxes was smelling Sheepstealer here, or Rhaena. We know that Caraxes mates with Syrax, and clearly has negatory feelings towards Sheepstealer, but perhaps Caraxes recalls his scent from Dragonstone. Or perhaps Caraxes was around Rhaena long enough to recall her scent, which is doubtful. Or even that Caraxes is able to sniff out Daemon's kin on account of their shared blood, which is the coolest option, I think. Or dragons just have super hearing, and Caraxes heard one of Sheepstealer's whinnies from miles away. And I wasn't aware that Phoebe Campbell can actually act. I shouldn't be surprised, given HBO's dynamite casting record, but this is the first time I've heard Rhaena say more than a couple lines of dialogue. It's a great scene. It reminds me of what Lena told Daemon in his hallucination at Harrenhal.
Have you looked after our girls?
Daemon's come to terms with Viserys, another subject of his hallucinations, telling Rhaenyra last episode that he's made his peace with him. Now's his chance to come to terms with Lena and fulfill her wish that he protect their daughters. Of course, whenever Daemon's stuck between a rock and a hard place, he chooses the secret third option, murder. I'm assuming that in order to protect Rhaena's identity, Daemon got this charred up beheaded head here from the shepherd he saw below Rhaena's cave. Kudos for being a good dad, I guess? I've been informed this little drug orb thingy is not a drug orb at all, but rather a pomander that Ormund uses to alleviate his senses. But are you telling me he's never snuck a pinch of hash in there? A little shade of the evening extract? hemp does exist in Westeros, but Ormund seems more like a crushed up Adderall sort of beast. I did like this quick little scene with Ulf and Rhaenyra. Ulf seems to be rubbing his only 2 brain cells together to convince Rhaenyra she needs to be a lot cooler to the people of her city. By speaking so brazenly about the bastard allegations, he's letting Rhaenyra know it's not just gossips at court saying that shit. There's a significant portion of her own citizenry who hate her. Let's hope new Master of Coin Torrhen Manderly can find some lunch money for them. Helaena was already supposed to have 3 kids. Maelor is like 2 or 3 years old in the book, was even present at Blood and Cheese, and George went bloggo mode a while back, citing the non-existence of Maelor as a butterfly effect that will harm the story later on. Ryan Condal has spoken about Maelor not existing in the show before, so either he's changed his mind to throw George a bone, or unlike George, Ryan Condal doesn't like spoiling future plot points, and has known this entire time that Helaena would be pregnant with Maelor right about now. And Helaena being preggers with Prince Maelor now is extra dramatic. She is carrying inside her belly another rival to Rhaenyra's throne, making it all the more necessary for her to escape King's Landing before her bump becomes obvious. Although most of that drama is neutered by Rhaenyra claiming she wouldn't have killed Daeron, so there's probably no reason for Alicent and Helaena to worry that she'd kill Maelor. The only difference is that Maelor is King Aegon's direct heir, whereas Daeron is Viserys' son, Maelor's uncle, thus behind him in the succession. I guess we'll see if any of this matters. That's a great shot of Vermithor the Bronze Fury landing at Tumbleton. They're pretty clearly setting up a boiling point where Hugh is going to need to save his wife Cat, who's living in Tumbleton with her now deceased brother. Hugh looks like this evil Jedi guy with the cool lightsaber from one of those Disney Plus streaming slop Star Wars shows I swear I didn't watch. Come on guys, I only watch Kino. Don't beat me, don't beat me. Anywho, Ray Stevenson has tragically passed away, but if they want to continue Balin Skull's story, I found your guy. Wait a minute, I'm getting word they've already recast him with the Hound. Huh.
The Targaryens are a savage race. Poor in intellect, but rich in cunning.
They're incestuous aliens, Duncan.
Ormund strikes me as an abusive father figure, given his anger problems from earlier and the way Daeron flinches away from him, despite the fire-breathing backup. Without any explicit dialogue, and obviously without ever showing Daeron before, we can imagine he was raised very strictly with constant indoctrination into pro-Hightower sympathies and plenty of beatings until obeisance resumed.
Where is reason? Where is propriety?
Where is duty? Where is sacrifice?
He tells Daeron he gets to be king now, setting him up as the brother Rhaenyra needs to worry about now, despite thinking she had him captured last episode, which is great. But also Daeron has to kill this guy, Hugh's brother-in-law, or else he's not a real man. It's like the worst frat hazing you can imagine. The sword he uses is Valyrian steel, a blade called Vigilance. Kinda ironic that Ormund hates Valyrians' inferior genes and the taint of weirdness in their blood, but is more than happy to use their magical, spell-forged steel. Daeron is sort of the Deus Ex Machina for Season 3. The convenient solution to Team Green not really having a real threat to Rhaenyra at the moment. A Deus Ex Targaryen, if you will. Anyways, that's it for my crisp view of House of the Dragon 304. Let me know down in the comments how you liked the episode, and how many times you think Kristen and Gwaine are going to kiss each other off camera. As always, this video is brought to you by my Patreon. For $5 per month, you get early access to every new video, plus exclusive videos like my Crusader Kings Dance of the Dragons playthrough, and some other stuff. Thank you to everybody whose name is on screen right here, and thanks to all of you as well for watching and subscribing. Alright, love you, goodbye.